This is my brand new Union Pacific Broadway Limited SD70ACe, and today I'm going to give you a pretty in-depth overview of this unit, and at the end I'll give you some of my thoughts on it. Basically, I'll be breaking this down into 7 steps. I'll start with going over the basic specifications of this unit, then I'll go into why I bought it, after that what I like, what I don't like, then we'll compare it to my identical MTH unit, after that we'll test run the unit, and then I'll give some final thoughts on the thing. First, the basic specifications. These new BLI units are fully die-cast, which means they do have a kinda steep starting price. I got mine DCC ready for about $300 shipping and all that included, which is actually a pretty good price for one of these. I think the MSRP is a little bit higher, so I'm happy I got a pretty good deal on it. The reason I got this unit DCC ready was so I could install a lock sound decoder, and I've done so. It was made considerably easier due to the fact that this unit, again DCC ready, comes with speakers from the factory. They're not the best in the world, but they get the job done, and with the decoder and everything all in, I think my total was somewhere around 400. There is a pretty good reason as to why I got this unit in particular, and why I've already owned one of these in the past. In 2020, when I was just starting to get into the hobby, I got word that this unit was going to be pulling a business train through my area, so I managed to go out and catch it, which was honestly a really cool and fun experience. I'll overlay the video here, but it was a really cool train. It had a whole bunch of sleepers, it had a diner, a baggage, one of the cool ones with the American flags on the side, it had an observation car, I believe it had the Kennefic business car, the Fox River Theater car, and the power car. Overall, it was a really cool train to see, and I've very slowly been trying to build it up, so I think having this unit in my collection will be a big help to making that train a really nice piece. In 2021, I actually bought an MTH unit to fulfill the role of having this unit in my collection, and it's been pretty heavily abused throughout those years. I'm now much nicer to a lot of my equipment, so this thing should last me a very long time, but that engine has been very thoroughly used, and I think it's time for a good replacement unit. Plus, there were a few little things I didn't like so much about that unit, but we'll get into all that later. Now, let's move on to the good of this unit, specifically what I like about it. The first really big thing I like, and the reason I happen to be holding this model, is due to the weight. Since this is a fully die-cast unit, as I mentioned earlier, it weighs a pretty good amount. I believe it's 2 or 3 pounds on its own, and I believe at that it can pull a very long train. I probably won't need it to pull something huge on its own, but it is nice knowing that it would likely be capable of doing so. Something else I really like, although it isn't perfect, is the mural on the side of the unit. You can kind of see it looks a little bit faded and some of the colors aren't perfect, but it is comparable to the real unit, more so than my MTH unit. It's a very odd situation, we'll talk about that later, but I think it does look really good overall, and especially from a distance, it looks very crisp. While we're looking at the side of this unit, another piece I really like happens to be the handrails. They're also made out of metal just like the unit, and they feel really sturdy. They look good from a distance. I really like the paint and how crisp everything looks, and I just think overall they look really good, and there's some really cool features on both the front and back I want to look at. For this example, it's the same on both ends, but we only need to look at the front handrails. There's really nothing exceptional here. You got ditch lights down there, you got your generic handrail design here, but the chain in the middle is what we're looking at. And what's really cool is that this is a real chain. It's not a fake piece that's just fixed in place. It can actually move, and when this train is running on the tracks, it looks really cool. It's a really nice effect. And while it is the exact same case on the back, here it is, this one also moves. It's just a really cool detail, and I think it adds a lot to this unit. And the final thing I wanted to mention, which I really had to zoom in on, is these two vents in particular. We got this one here and this one here. Both of them have these really cool looking mesh screens. Behind this one, there's actually some details that are visible, and it's a really cool looking effect. And then behind this one, you also have some mesh, and you can see straight through to the other side of the engine, just like on the real thing. So I think that's a really cool touch. And something else I'm just now noticing is that you have this really crisp lettering right underneath this big vent right there. Now it's time to talk about what I really don't like about this unit, what you could consider to be the bad, and I do really want to start with the vents once again. I pinpointed the two on the back that look really good, but elsewhere on this model there's a lot of detail lacking in the vent department. On real units, these vents would look a lot more black than it does on this model in particular due to the shadows and the dust that would get caught in here. Up here, I believe there should be a little bit of detail hiding behind these vents, and really them being this basic just does not look good whatsoever. It's the same case with this one here and this one right up here. And I believe on maybe my MTH unit, this is see-through. Then going back over to the whole radiator assembly here, this sticks out like a sore thumb. On the real unit, you're definitely able to see through these things because, again, they're vents, and they look like they have more of a black effect. And on this unit, they're just painted to the same blue body color of the locomotive, and it really doesn't look good whatsoever. At bare minimum, I think they should have painted these gray or something like that, but it really would have been nice to see through it because there's not anything that's blocking this piece underneath the locomotive. And this lack of detail also carries over to the fans on the roof. I want to talk about the two up on the radiator here first. The fans themselves actually look really good. If I were to blow in here, the blades do spin, and I think that looks great. But what's really lacking here is these little piping details. On my MTH unit and on the real things, they kind of stick up and go into the fans. But on this Broadway Limited unit, on this plastic part, they're just molded straight into the plastic, and it really doesn't look good. Then moving back to this vent, this one really sticks out like a sore thumb. Again, it's a vent that looks more like these on the real unit, but here they chose not to make it a see-through vent. It's just a solid piece that's painted on and indented, and it really looks terrible if you're looking at this unit from up close. While this relative lack of detail definitely isn't the end of the world, I definitely expect more from a locomotive at this price point, even if this unit is fully die-cast. The only other thing I'm not a huge fan of on this model is how the cab and the nose are two separate pieces. On the real unit, they're one piece with no dividing line right here, but there's a pretty obvious divider on this model that isn't there on the real unit. So while there are some things I don't like, and I think given the price point the unit could be better, overall it does look really nice and I'm really happy with the way it looks and operates. Now, just for fun, I'm going to show you around my MTH unit really quick, and then I'll have some quick comparisons between this and the brand new Broadway Limited unit. Now to compare the units, and the first thing I really want to compare is the mural. I mentioned earlier that on the Broadway Limited unit, it looked a little bit toned down, and I think from a distance that looks really, really good. However, on the MTH unit, it looks like they just straight up took the drawings from Union Pacific and stuck them onto the locomotive without considering how it would look from a ways away. So while these do look really crisp, I think some details on this unit are present that aren't even on the real thing. And if you're looking at this unit from a ways away, it looks way too sharp and honestly looks way out of place. Something else I want to point out too is the difference in the cab color. On the MTH unit, this is incorrectly black. It should be like the BLI unit, this gray color. It looks really weird and I don't know how MTH wound up doing that, but it's a very odd design choice. The next thing I want to compare is the difference between the front handrails and the ditch lights because there's a pretty obvious and weird difference between the two. I'll show you the BLI unit first because they did this right. We have the ditch lights up in front. The ditch light boxes themselves may be a little bit chunky just since they had to fit lighting and whatnot in there, but behind those we got the stanchions for the handrails and everything looks to be pretty normal. On the MTH unit, however, the boxes for the ditch lights are even larger and they've mounted them in such a bizarre way. We have the stanchion going directly into the ditch light on both sides. I don't know why they decided to design it like that, but it's a very goofy and odd design. And the final thing I really wanted to compare between the two has to do with the vents. I already complained about the ones on the Broadway Limited unit. I showed you how on the side, these ones are really out of place. There's no detail behind them, especially with the radiator vent here, while these two are okay. Contrarily, on the MTH unit, there are a lot of details here. You can see that this is an actual legitimate vent and there's some details hiding behind there. This one's still a little bit blank, but that's okay. The one up here is actually a see-through vent. You can see straight through into the locomotive. It's hard to spot on camera, but it is a legitimate opening. Going back to the radiator as well, you can see that there are slits going straight into there and they look really good. You can see through the locomotive that way and the rear radiator looks really good with that addition. Back to the BLI unit, I already complained about the vents with these molded on details and this non-existent vent on the rear of the unit, and now I'll show you the MTH unit which actually did a much better job. While again, this is still the wrong color compared to the BLI unit, these vents actually look a lot nicer. You can see that these pieces are actual detail parts, they're not just molded into the plastic and they look good. Despite the oddities that have gone on with this particular vent, this piece looks really, really good. I'd say potentially even better than the Broadway Limited unit. And again, on the back, we have a legitimate open vent, which looks much, much better than what exists on the Broadway Limited unit. And one final little thing I wanted to point out just for fun has to do with the exhaust port. On the Broadway Limited unit, the exhaust port looks like this. It does look kind of small, but I've seen pictures of this unit from above, and that's roughly the size it should be, unlike the MTH unit, which has this comically large exhaust port. I don't know how they wound up making it that large, but it's way out of place and it definitely needs to be a smaller component. Now, before we go into running this engine, I want to talk a little bit about the programming of this unit, and I want to share a kind of funny story that happened along the way. As mentioned earlier, this unit is equipped with lock sound as I installed a decoder into it, and this isn't the first time I've done this. In fact, it's the third. The first two engines were these Union Pacific GP9s. They're really nice units made by Athearn Genesis, and I've been really happy with them. But when I got these, a good friend of mine helped me download the sound file and program the engines properly. But when I put the lock sound decoder in this unit, he was out of town, so I was on my own trying to program this locomotive. For my first time ever working with lock sound programming, I think I did a pretty good job. I got the sound file downloaded without any issues whatsoever, but issues started to arise when I tried to get the ditch lights to work. That turned out to be a pretty big hassle. When programming them, I happened to assume that the ditch lights corresponded to a specific function output, and I was apparently off by one. One of them was the interior cab light, and the other was the other ditch light. So what I managed to do was turn the cab light into a ditch light and make one of the other ditch lights flash. So I'll show you that clip here, and since I don't really have any other clips of the horn, you'll get to hear the horn on this unit. After that funny debacle though, I got the thing programmed correctly and I got the ditch lights to work. After that, however, I had to mess with the sound of the locomotive, as for whatever reason, with the prime mover of this unit, the pitch was way too high and there really wasn't enough bass. So I had to mess with the bass and treble quite a bit to get it to a good sounding point, and I think at some point I'd like to replace the speakers in this unit. It is nice that it came with speakers, but I think this unit deserves better. But now, with all that out of the way, why don't I go run this thing with my Union Pacific business train that I've been very slowly building up for this exact unit. After that pretty good running session, it's now time for me to give some final thoughts on this locomotive. Overall, I am really happy with it. It seems to run very well, the sound turned out very good, and it looks very, very sharp. The weight is definitely going to make this locomotive a good puller, and I think at some point I'll have to see how much it can pull up a grade on its own. But as I mentioned, there are a few things I don't like. Most notably, I think this model is really lacking in detail given the price point. I really do wish they put some more effort into the vents, even though this unit is fully die-cast. I think BLI could have done a much better job with that. Again, this is a die-cast unit, so it is going to be expensive, but I do wish that this model was either a little bit cheaper, or they put a little bit more effort into these vents and whatnot. But in the end, I think this piece is going to be a very, very good long-term addition to my collection, and I'm glad to use this thing, and hopefully I'll be using it quite a bit.